I want to talk about critical thinking for DJs. I did a video yesterday where I was talking about this particular situation that I'm in this Saturday, where not only do I need to bring a big PA in that is a struggle for me to set up as a one-headed person. I can do it, but it is a struggle. And also, the problem is last time I was at this particular school, they set me up against this glass wall in this room that I'll be playing in again. Now, the problem with the glass wall is there's nothing for my lights to reflect off of to reflect onto the audience. This is normally what I do with my light show. I've designed the light show so I don't blind anybody, and so it's very easy for me to set up as a disabled person. And I was trying to figure out solutions for this because, I do have someone who is going to come and help me at this event, but, being January in the Midwest, we could have a snowstorm, there could be car problems, there could be family emergencies, and for some reason, this person who has offered to help me, which I really do appreciate, if for some reason they can't, what am I going to do? I have to do something, right? You got to think of the worst case scenario sometimes. So yeah, help is very welcome. But if there's no help, could I pull it off? Would I be scrambling last minute to try to find somebody to help me with a solution that I came up with? Or could I go ahead and execute the solution by myself if I had to? The big speaker setup, yeah, I can set it up, but it's a struggle and it takes me quite a while to do, like probably over an hour. And my light show, I've designed it so not only does it not blind anybody, where I'm, shining lights in people's eyes, but I've also designed it where it's very easy for me as a one-handed disabled person to set up. So instead of erecting a big trussing system, all I have to do is simply turn a light on and set it down against a reflective wall that in turn reflects into the audience. I can create cool patterns and all kinds of stuff. This is the kind of critical thinking that I had to come up with to be able to work at all. Because when I first had this stroke, a lot of people said I couldn't work. I designed several systems that allowed me to work. And they've only gotten easier and easier and easier over the last 10 years. So when I've got one thing that's a struggle, like the speakers, that are kind of throwing me back a little bit because they're not designed for a one-handed person. Although I have worked out how to set them up, they're not ideal for me to set up and they do take time. I really can't add any more things to the equation, right? If I do, then I really have problems. That I'm there for 2 hours plus erecting trussing systems and setting up these custom light shows that will probably shoot kids in the eyes and completely defeat the purpose of what I was trying to do in the first place. And I also mentioned that this event doesn't pay a lot. So for all that effort I'm putting in, I'm not getting an ROI at all, right? This is all information I gave in the video, yet the suggestions were bring more lights or buy these Chauvet FX2 lights, they'll work for you. The only person who came up with something that I felt like was a real viable option was Howie Darkstar. He said, send him a picture of what it looked like at their last event, and then send him a picture of what it could look like if you had the wall that reflected lights off of it to watch the audience. Well, I actually texted the client today, and I explained to him, hey, the glass wall is not a place for me to set up. Is there somewhere else I can set up in the room? And they text back and said, hey, we're going to look at it this week and figure it out. Thank you. That's the path of least resistance. That's all I had to do. I didn't have to plan on buying anything. I didn't have to erect any truss or go through lights or bring additional moving heads or anything else that was going to make my life harder or make it more expensive or make it a loss for me at this event because I had to buy extra things or because I maybe have to hire somebody if this person who's volunteered to help me, which I really do appreciate it, can't show up. I'm not scrambling last minute. Critical thinking is very important, and it's not just with the logistics of setup, but it's with your clients. When they have issues, you got to hear everything and consider everything that they've told you before you make a suggestion or execute anything at all. It's the same thing when you have dancers on the dance floor. You have to think about who they are. Have a little empathy. Put yourself in their place. Think about what they might like right now. Think about how they may feel if you play this song or that song. Think about what they might like next. Really, this is so important for us. If I didn't have critical thinking skills and empathy for others, I couldn't work. There's no way. Not as a disabled person. I wouldn't have been able to figure out how to put a system together because nobody told me how to do it. I had to figure it out myself. I've taught a lot of other people how to do it. But when this happened to me, everyone said I couldn't work anymore. Well, critical thinking skills allowed me to work because I considered every single obstacle that I had in my way. And I came up with what I felt like at the time was the best solution. Economically and, physically, practical, I could do it. And it's only gotten easier, but it's because of critical thinking. So, I don't know, we can do more videos on this if you want to, but I thought this one was worth putting up because, I don't know, some of the suggestions on how to resolve this issue for this particular event, I thought were kind of odd. One person told me to design some kind of big backdrop to go over the wall. Oh my gosh, you know how much pipe and drape that would take? And it would take a crew to set it up. Well, we're assuming at this point I don't have a crew. And if I do, it's one person. And there's pipe and drape rental. I mean, I understand that these are ways around it if you can't get around it. And you have an event where you have enough funds to go ahead and do all this stuff. But for this particular event, no. Not with the information I gave in the video. Most of the stuff is just not viable or practical. I couldn't do it. I'm only allocated so much time to actually set this stuff up. Usually the faculty shows up maybe an hour before showtime. I mean, I'm sitting there waiting for them to come and unlock the door. I'll tell them, hey, showtime is at 7. I'll be there at about 5:30. And they stroll in at 10 after 6. Because that's just how it goes. You got to consider these kind of things when you are trying to execute any type of event. The path of least resistance and using some critical thinking is usually the way to go. So anyway, that's it. Just a quick video. I've got some stuff I got to do tonight, so I got to turn this off. But we'll do more videos this week. Questions, comments? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Practice and enjoy.